My name is Chris Cali. I graduated from the University of Notre Dame 2014, and then I did ESTEEM the following year, 2015. I've worked for big companies. I've worked for small companies. I was a chief of staff at Booz Allen Hamilton. I started a couple of companies. I came back to the Idea Center, launched two of those companies based on faculty research going on at Notre Dame. One was called Vital View Technologies, and the other one that does remote congestive heart failure monitoring. And the other one is a colorectal cancer diagnostic. That company was called Claris Genomics. I now have I've done multiple years of software engineering and have a software studio that I work with another ESTEEM grad. When I was a senior in college, David Murphy, the current director of the ESTEEM program, came into my medical molecular parasitology class. At the time, I was considering pre-med, but David sold me on the ESTEEM program. I had an opportunity to think through things from a more entrepreneurial perspective. I had read a book by Malcolm Gladwell called The Tipping Point, and I got really obsessed with having impacts on a greater scale, as opposed to my exposure to the medical field was in the emergency room. And while that was cool and high paced and you had to compartmentalize, it was a lot of problems and challenges to solve. I wanted to think about how can we use a business vehicle to make a greater impact and impact more people. So that was really interesting to me. So probably my favorite memory was starting a company with my buddy Rory at the time, where we basically were trying to innovate the way that students got to and from the airport for winter break, for Christmas break. And we started a company called Better, Cheaper Bus, and it was a way of getting students to and from the airport better and cheaper than the alternatives at the time. I remember literally the first day of class, David showed us a video by an influencer who's blown up since, named Simon Sinek. And the topic was finding your why, and why it's so important to know your motivation for what you're doing, as opposed to just what or how you're doing what you're doing. And so I think Notre Dame does a unique job of inspiring students to find problems that matter to people, to be a force for good. The founder entrepreneur of this university, his name was Father Edward Soren, 1842, said he wanted to create Notre Dame to be a force for good. And so I think the ESTEEM program is a great place that furthers that mission and graduates students and graduates that are ready to be a force for good. What's fascinating, especially around the time that I graduated in 2015, there was a bit less of a culture around entrepreneurship. I think it in large part due to the ESTEEM program, and the people who started the ESTEEM program and carry it to today really inspired a lot of people to think about what Notre Dame students and alums can do as founders, and if not tapping into where the founders, the existing Notre Dame alum founders were, and helping them to connect back to the university to inspire students to be more entrepreneurial. So I just think the ESTEEM program is really a great place and a connector of students to other founders and alums who have done great work from whom to learn. What's really cool about ESTEEM is it takes people like myself who are really interested in technology, but also really interested in people and serving people, and interested on the business side of things, and giving you exposure to fields where you can wear both of those hats, where you can flex some of your strengths, perhaps on the technical side or business side, depending on who you are, but also have a foot in the other door. And you're oftentimes playing that critical bridge between the technical side of perhaps like products and the marketing or business driven reasons for even developing those products in the first place. ESTEEM helps you contextualize what any product or service is really doing in the marketplace to begin with. My biggest piece of advice for incoming students is to have a goal that you're working towards. Try to be as explicit and quantitative about that particular goal, and work towards it. At the same time, try to be open-minded and open to new opportunities, to work on new projects or explore new opportunities. So as long as you're not sacrificing working towards that particular goal, there's many opportunities either on campus or with other ESTEEM students in your cohort to maybe start something new or explore other projects. I think ESTEEM is unique in that it is taking people and really providing a full experience around thinking about the value of a particular product in the marketplace. I think it uniquely helps students stand out among maybe other programs to say, hey, we not only have technical skills to understand a product or a service that a company is offering, but we also understand the context that it's in and why it's important in the first place. So STEAM really helps you to think through the challenges that existing companies have with products that they're trying to bring to market today. And I think that's where a lot of the hope and future and optimism for the economy in the future comes from, is people trying to solve new problems. So STEAM students are really thinking through things that matter. Probably the number one most important skill was the ability to speak in front of people. Honestly, I was terrified to speak in front of people, and I still get nervous when I speak in front of people. But what ESTEAM challenged me to do, not only in class, but through exposure to pitch competitions where we were standing in front of hundreds of people at a time and trying to pitch our airtight business plan, really knowing how to engage an audience and to speak effectively and make sure that what you're trying to communicate is coming across, while also being able to listen and understand the context in which you're speaking.